Hey everybody, good morning, it's Robb Moffett. Guys, today we've got a video on on clam cakes. I knew you were just anxious to get that video, weren't you? You know, I was going to add this video last week and I decided not to. What happened was three things. Number one, I wasn't real happy with the outcome. The food was good, the clam cakes were fine, but they weren't as good as I had hoped. And there's a million cooking videos on YouTube, so you don't have to watch something that's not prime time. The other thing was, there's a lot of people grew up eating clam cakes. Maybe they grew up poor, that's all they ate. So when you're poor, you learn how to make something really taste good if it doesn't cost a lot. And what I was making wasn't anything like a normal clam cake, and I don't want to get them all riled up over nothing. This wasn't a real clam cake. This was just kind of an experiment. I'm pretty good at making fish cakes with similar recipe, but never made really clam cakes before. So I didn't want to get people upset right from the get-go, because I know how people get. Like, I watched videos on macaroni and cheese, which I know how to make blindfold. The only 4 ingredients you need. You need sharp cheddar cheese, Elba macaroni, fresh milk, and butter. Or, we were poor, we used margarine. And I see people adding like $25 worth of Azada cheese and pimentos and hot peppers and all sorts of crazy things. You know, it kind of gets me a little bit going, and it's not real macaroni and cheese. Same thing with clam cakes. So I wasn't so sure if I want to add it. But, you know, the third thing is, I was thinking about stopping my food videos because, like I said, there's a million people out there that are chefs, that are really good cooks, making super good videos on food. And what am I doing? You know, I'm just, really what I'm doing with my cooking videos is I'm making food. So for the future, if I forget how I made it, I can go on YouTube and see how I made it. And I know it won't be a difficult recipe because that's how I made it in the past. It's something I enjoyed eating, so that's where we're at with this video, guys. The last thing I want to tell you before we get started is, I know some of you aren't too happy with me yabbering on and on. Well, you know, down at the bottom of the video, there's an icon, a little wheel. You can open it up and go to the speed function, and you can speed me up to 2.0. I will not be offended. You know, 1.75, I'll be sounding great. So let's, now that we got all those preliminaries out of the way, let's get started on this week's clam cake controversy. You know, the first thing you want to start with is Snow's clams. You can use minced clams, you can use chopped clams, you can catch them with a stick, you can run them down and hunt them, you can get them out of a can, but you got to start with clams if you're going to make some clam cakes. And I like Snow's. When I was a kid, we were poor, and something exotic for me was a can of condensed Snow's clams with a little milk, and I always got a big smile on my face whenever there was any clams in it. Now, the next thing you want is, most people use crackers, the aficionados of clam cakes, or flour, but I'm using some cornmeal and some oats. I'm using 1 cup of cornmeal and about a half cup of oats. But if you got crackers, go with it. Or maybe panko, grind them up. Now, I put in a little bit of turmeric just for the color, not for the taste. You don't want to add a lot of this stuff because you don't want to mask the flavor of the clams, which is very delicate. And I had the pepper because, well, you got to add a little pepper. Also, pepper helps the bioavailability of all the goodness that's in that old magical turmeric. So you can, your body can utilize whatever's supposed to be good in there for you. It helps you see around corners. Next thing I added, which is where I went wrong, I like to add a little red pepper. But when you add stuff to seafood, you know, Lord of mine, that seafood tastes great. What are you adding red pepper to it for? There's some things red pepper was made for, but for seafood, to me, that was a mistake. You want to taste the clams. You don't need your clams all hot and spicy. You want them to taste nice and sweet and tender and like to just come out of the ocean. Now, parsley, nothing wrong with parsley. I buy it by the pound. You got to have an egg for the binder. And a little oil. I use coconut oil, but you can use other oils if you like. Butter. Now, here's where people are going to stand up and shout and get mad is I use some chickpeas, garbanzos. They're very mild in flavor, and they hold the patty together really well, and they add a lot of protein to the little old patty. They're healthy for you. And also, I got to use up these cans. People kept bugging me because I would use cans, and they said, why don't you use your pressure cooker? Because I'm a pressure cooker fanatic. And so I got thinking, why don't I use pressure cooker for my chickpeas, garbanzo? So now I found that the chickpeas, when you use a pressure cooker, is about 1/3 the cost of cans. So I got these cans left over. I got to use them for something. So I put them in the old clam cake. And very mild flavor. You don't really notice them. And they bulk up the chickpea, make it last. I got 12 nice big round patties out of that 1 can of clams. So go with me on this. Now, this is where I like celery. Nothing wrong with celery. And people are getting on the bandwagon now, eating celery juice and all that sort of stuff. But you know what? The clam cakes just was too much. Maybe just a few pieces. No, I think I love celery and tuna salad and so on, but clam cakes was a mistake. Now, you want a nice onion. Use whatever you got. Red onion, white onion, Bermuda onion, Vidalia onion. But you got to have an onion. In fact, you got to have an onion in your house. You never want to live somewhere there's no onions. I knew a guy, he wouldn't say it. He said he'd never sail on a ship that didn't have onions. Why do those things stick in my head? I just remembered that. Now I threw in some corn, just a little bit. It makes a nice color, and that sweetness complements the sweetness of the clams. But you don't want to make this into a corn cake. It's a clam cake, but the corn, it also lightens up the old clam patty because it just makes it hard to compress. It wants to stand out on its own. The old clam does. I mean the corn. So little corn is good on all counts. Now throw that together, start adding your meal, and then you want to mix it up. After you mix it up, add your egg. It's probably a good idea to put your egg in a little pan or a cup before you put it into your mix, because if you've got all your ingredients and you got a bad egg, I mean, I've only had a couple of bad eggs my whole life, but you don't want to throw your egg in there before you look and make sure it's a good one. I'm sounding really old now. Who talks about bad eggs? Now here's where I had the red pepper, wrong. Parsley was nice, gives a nice good. Now I added some garlic salt. I think garlic salt was a mistake. I think it could have been left out with no problems. And like I said, the turmeric goes in, but it's just for the color, and you don't want the flavor. And the pepper's coming along as a best friend. Now you add the clams. Open up the clams. Here again, when you open up the clams, it's probably better to inspect it instead of just dumping it in like I did, because you don't know if those are good clams or not. You could have a help me note from a seagull in there. You don't know what you got in that can. Use your finger, get all the rest of it out. You paid for that clam. Throw in your coconut oil. I just use a big tablespoon. Now chopped olives, because if you watch my videos, you know I got to put chopped olives in things. At least I left out the raisins, right? Now mix it up. You're going to start making your patties using the little old gadget I made out of a tuna fish can about 6 or 7 years ago. It's starting to rust. I think I need to get it replaced. They make super little patties, that little can does. Put them in your panini grill. Now, after you got your little cakes in the panini grill, you want to grill them for about 14-15 minutes on medium. And when they're done, take them out, let them cool. The longer these set, the better. In fact, they're better like meatloaf. They're better even the next day. They're not that good really when they're hot. You want to eat it cold as a snack. They're delicious as a snack. As a meal on a sandwich, I would never do it. But maybe with dinner with some pork and beans and some other stuff. But yeah, you might want to give these a try. These could have been a little better, but they're all gone. In a day and a half, I ate them all. So they can't be that bad. So guys, that's how to make them with the panini grill. I hope there's something you enjoyed, and let me know if you think I should keep doing my food videos, or if I just should keep them private and watch them when I forget how I made stuff. All right, and I'll just stick to the other stuff I knew how to do better, maybe. But I don't know. I enjoy my food videos. But if you guys like them, let me know, and we'll think about doing more in the future. If you got any recipes you want me to make, you let me know, and we'll give it a shot. All right, guys. Take care and see you out there.